Hi everyone, I'm Ellen,
And I'm Alyssa.
and this is 2024 Our Story, the podcast where we talk about life. So, one of the things I realized we probably should do is say what day it is. So, today is Friday, January 29th, aka the last day of the first week of the 2021 spring semester. Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so how was your first week, Alyssa?
I think it was pretty good. It's the usual when you start classes, you have to go over the syllabi, plural, I think, of syllabus.
Yeah, I
Pretty
think so.
sure.
Who knows?
Syllabuses sounds wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't work in the
It
mouth,
doesn't
right?
work. So syllabi, I'm going to go with syllabi. So, you go over this the syllabi of your classes and you kind of like see new faces. And I have my bio class, since we're both taking bio, it's like the biggest class that I've been in so far. I think we have like 45 or something.
How many people were in your calc class? I thought that one was pretty big.
That was like 30, which is still like big for us. But 40 was like a new
That's a
a
new high.
new record.
Wow. Yeah, I also have 40 in my class. In my chem class this semester, like the two sections are meeting at the same time, so it's also 40 people. So this semester is a brand new
Wow.
class size for me too.
I think I also have the smallest amount of people in a different class. I think it might be like 10 people, which I think so far is like the smallest amount of people in a class, which is, I guess, pretty surprising for like being a first year and kind of doing like general education classes where you think there'd be more people and stuff. But also, we're at such a small school, so I guess shouldn't be surprised that we have really small classes sometimes.
Wait, can you refresh me on what classes you're taking?
I'm taking Bio 44. I'm taking English 111,
Oh, okay.
which
Is that
is
the class?
Shakespeare, I'm pretty sure that's my smallest class so far. Taking my core 2 class is Performances of Identity. And then I'm taking Chinese at Pomona, so an intermediate Chinese class.
Wait, were you taking intermediate before?
There's like 2 parts of intermediate. So I was taking intermediate before. It was like 51A, and now I'm in 51B.
That's so confusing.
A little
That
bit, but
oh, okay. Wow. Well, look at you. Yay. Wait, so have you met your language requirement by completing the first half? Or
oh yeah, I already met my
oh,
language requirement, but I'm still not sure if I want to do Chinese as a minor. So I've just been kind of, also I just don't want to lose it, I know
that's smart.
I don't know, I'm not like the best at Chinese because I don't have very much practice outside of like school. So I lose it really quickly. Um, but I don't know, I'm just trying to trying to keep it up.
Yes, you go, Alyssa. That's so amazing. You're motivated, unlike me.
Oh, thank you. How about you? For what classes are you taking? How was your first week?
It was good. It was very tiring. I will say that I lost motivation on the first day of school. So I was sitting there going, why am I doing this? But in the end, it worked out. Okay, so I'm taking Bio 44 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which is different than Alyssa, who's taking it Tuesday, Thursday, which I find really interesting. I know I keep bringing that up, but I don't know. I just like can't get over that. And then I'm taking Chem 15 and Spanish, the intermediate Spanish class I need for GEs, and then Core 2 with Professor Solomon, Subversive Selves.
Are
But
you going to have a lot of reading this semester for your classes, do you think?
I don't know. I think less reading than I did last semester, but more STEM work, which I don't know how to feel about.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I
How
guess you can only really tell with time.
that's true. How is your first STEM class going? First college STEM class.
It's good. For bio, we pretty much have, it's only been really one class of instruction for us so far. So it was just like a normal lecture and everything. I don't know. I think what was interesting though is that in bio, in the breakout rooms that I was in, everyone was very quiet. It was so
Uh,
both times, so both days when I was put in a breakout room, like I'm not usually one to talk first a lot in class, but I actually ended up for one of the breakout rooms being that one person who was like, okay, guys, I'm going to ask you all these random questions because there's a bunch of awkward silence. So, you know,
good for you, Alyssa. I
yeah,
applaud you.
taking a new step because I couldn't handle the silence on the first day.
That's true. STEM rooms seem to be quieter because I don't. I guess Chem 15 or Chem 14 was different because you're solving problems, so you're like some people don't work together and some people like talk through the problems. But bio, I feel like you need to talk through them.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten to the point where we have to kind of solve big problems. We had to make like one slide deck or one Google slide. Sorry, I'm like
Oh, you actually
forgetting
had to make
words.
slides.
Well, we just had to make one kind of like summarizing this like article, this in the study that we read as a group. So it was very basic. We didn't have to do very much. You didn't have to like talk to your group that much, but yeah, I don't know. It's a lot more quiet than usual. I do like breakout rooms actually. I'm usually a pretty big fan of them. Except for when you you do get to that point where it's like very silent, but for the most part, I like it because it gives you a chance to like actually talk to people in your class and get to know them while you're working on whatever it is that you're working on.
That's a very good point. Breakout rooms are nice, especially on the first day or first week, because then you actually get to talk to people in your class, and otherwise you're sitting there staring at each other in the main group, going, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
Those large questions in life. Not that you ask them that when they're in the breakout room.
I mean, you could. You could always take that chance. As I said, I don't know if I said before on this podcast, but I think I've told you in the past, some ways I randomly made friends was just literally exposing my entire life story. And then, bam, eventually we were friends and it all worked out. So sometimes it works.
That is amazing. Yeah. I mean, do you think you've made friends in this first week?
I mean, I feel like already online, it's hard to tell who are your kind of more genuine friends that you make, or if they're kind of like acquaintances that, like, when you see them on campus, you'll try to be better friends. But I do think in my core two class, I was in a group with three girls, and we had to do this like kind of little game, kind of like a getting to know you game, and it was actually really fun. And I wouldn't say that we're like friends now, you know, but I think that was the most bonding that I did because usually icebreakers aren't really, they don't always work. Sometimes they're just more awkward than the teacher intended, but that one worked. So I will give props to Professor Kong for that because she did a good job.
Good for her. Yeah, like I mean, icebreakers are just hard to do when you're online. I mean, I would say I've bonded the most with the people in my Spanish breakout rooms because we're supposed to be speaking Spanish. And sometimes we just don't know how to say something in Spanish. So we're like, how do you say that? And then we are confused together. But
Yeah, that's usually me too in my Chinese breakout rooms, except I feel like I don't know. I feel like I know less than I I'm okay with listening and like understanding Chinese or Mandarin, but I am so bad at speaking because I always forget vocabulary when I'm in the middle of talking. So understanding it is so much easier than speaking it. So I can see being in breakout rooms and being like, I don't know what I'm
mhm.
saying.
Yeah, it's really funny. I think like this is one of the first, actually, this is not the first time. I was in breakout rooms with guys last semester for chem. But like this is the first time that I think like every single one of my breakout rooms has had a guy in it. I'm like, who are you? You're not a
Oh,
script student.
yeah. It's easy to tell usually, you know, so that's good. Yes, on the topic of having guys in classes, I think my biology class, even though it is my biggest class, has like 40 girls and probably only has like 4 or 5 guys in it, which I thought was very surprising. I mean, it's not just like a scripts class, kind of like my calc class before, where you kind of expect there to be mostly girls if there are even guys in it. But no, this was just mostly girls anyways, which I thought was very interesting.
That is
Um,
super interesting.
I know I got confused for a second. I was like, wait a second, this is a Keck, like this is a Keck class. This is a all school class. This is not like a scripts class, right? Because it was I don't know, it's funny for me. But my Chinese class does have, I think, more guys than
Because
girls
that
for
was
the
at the
first
Pomona,
time.
right?
It's at
Okay.
Pomona. Last semester my intermediate Chinese class had like mostly girls, but now it's like mostly guys. I don't know. I guess it's
Transitions.
I know. Yeah, maybe it's like 50-50 chance. You never know what you're going to get.
Yes. Yeah, I've been noticing I'm having a lot more classes with people who are non-scripts. But that could
Yeah.
also just be because Spanish, I seem to have more recollection of my Spanish class for some reason, and that class is more non-script students.
I do tend to, I don't know about you, but within the first class, like first week of classes, you usually have to really introduce yourself to a bunch of people. And when you're in classes that are not just scripts classes, you kind of have to be like, well, what year are you and what school do you go to? And I have the hardest time remembering what year people are and what school they go to. Like just those two facts. I don't I don't know why. So somebody in my Chinese class, like he already told me that he was a first year at CMC, I think, before. But then I had to ask again later because I completely had forgotten. I just sometimes I forget. I'm not just with a bunch of first year scriptsies.
That's the nice thing about core is that you don't have to worry about that because you're all pretty much the same.
Even having classes that are at scripts sometimes and you have some like older people in the class with you, sometimes I get like surprised because I forget that I'm not in high school anymore, where everyone in the class is basically the same age and grade. So that's
That's
pretty
so true.
interesting.
I was in actually Spanish breakout room. Look at me, only referencing Spanish class. And it was like this group of three of us, and one of the girls was a senior at CMC, and she was doing psychology research, and the other girl in the room is a first year who's interested in psychology research. And it was like they were having a full-on conversation, and the girl was like, "I can get you a research opportunity if you like do this." And I was like, "Oh my goodness, the connections!"
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's nice to have those people outside of scripts because last semester I definitely was in the scripts bubble, except for like two people.
Yeah. I feel like I pretty much I still feel like I am in the scripts bubble, but I think I've gone last year, not oh my god, last year, oh my gosh, last semester, sorry. Like last semester I did have mostly just scripts and Pomona people in my classes. I think this semester I have a lot more CMC
Oh,
students,
interesting.
a lot more. Um,
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
well, it seems fine right now. I don't know.
The way you're
Everyone seems nice.
Thank you.
Everyone seems good. Not about to randomly throw people I don't know under the bus, you know? But they all seem pretty nice, pretty chill. I feel like it's just funny to me when you meet people and they like tell you what school they go to, and sometimes I like would I don't know. I feel like each school has its own like vibe,
Mhm.
kind of its own, I don't know what else to call it. So sometimes you're like,
I
I
get
wouldn't
you.
have expected that. One day I would like to be able to look at people and be like, I'm gonna guess that you go to this school.
That would be sick if you could actually do that and get like 99% right. I would bow
I feel
down to
like
you, Alyssa.
it would be so much fun. I feel like it'd be kind of like a little mini research project, like seeing little patterns of people and school culture and things like that. I feel like it'd be really interesting. That's just
That's
me.
true. You know, when we get on campus, maybe we should do that. When like people can merge on campus, you just sit outside of like I don't know where you could sit in Seal Court. Actually, Seal Court is probably a very scriptsy place. You could sit. somewhere on the five
somewhere.
C's and just be like, I think I know who that person, what that person. Although,
Yeah,
would it count as cheating if you knew the person and you saw them and you were like
probably.
in the 100 that
Yeah.
you did?
But I do constantly forget what schools people go to. So maybe that would be an advantage in this situation.
That's true. I seem to like the first week of classes, always seem to go on Sakai and I look at the roster and I'm just like, okay, that person's Pitzer, that person's CMC. I need to remember this.
Oh, that is a good idea. I have not done that.
I just I either have too much time or I'm too nosy. It's one or the other. I You can decide.
I I don't know. Let's take a minute to like switch over to talking about like you kind of mentioned it before, but motivation a little bit and like emotions and feelings. How are you feeling? Let's get away from the technical stuff. Let's How are you feeling
Oh,
about your first week and this semester? Oh yeah, it was just like I don't know, kind of recently announced that we are going to be online for the full spring 2021 semester. So how do you feel about that, Ellen?
passion, Alyssa.
I know, very
I
passionate.
I saw it coming. I mean, I think most of the people I've talked to saw it coming. It's like just LA is so bad right now that even if we were to go back, I don't know if I would. Like, or if they gave us the option to, I don't know if I would. It's still disappointing though. Like, we got the email and my mom like came running into my room and was like, I saw the email, I want to give you a hug. And like it's
Aw.
like thank you. And it's also just like at this point I don't know how I feel about it. Because there's so many positives and negatives. Interesting choice of words here. There's so many like pros and cons to going and not going that I don't even know if I could make a list, weigh, like make a pros and cons list and then weigh which one I would want to do. I mean, I think I've also gotten used to being online, so at this point it's kind of just like I'm okay. It's just one more semester. But otherwise, I mean, sorry, getting back onto what you actually asked me, I'm not gonna lie, it was rough the first week because I'm taking classes that I just need as prereqs, and I'm not like as passionate about them. But I'll get through it. It'll all be good. How about you? How are you feeling about the semester or
Um,
first week?
I have I think two main things that I'm feeling right now, you know?
Uh-huh.
I mean, the first is like being online in general, just like just talking very generally here. I feel kind of relieved because I would definitely rather be told now that we are going to be online than kind of try to go for like a week and then they like send you back, you know?
That's very true.
I am definitely glad that we were told ahead of time because it makes me feel like they're being a little more honest about it. You know, like it sucks. It sucks for everybody, but at least our schools are being honest to us, you know?
Mhm.
And not giving us too much false hope, you know? We saw it coming, but it's still helpful for them to say it.
Yeah.
Um yeah, it is hard though because mentally I don't know, just going through this week, it does feel really draining. The days feel longer to me. I don't know about you, but the days feel kind of longer. It's hard to separate school time from like personal time. And then like having homework is kind of weird because you're already at home and you're doing the work in class anyway. So it just feels like you have work to do all
Mhm.
day, every day, kind of. It's not really homework anymore. It's kind of just
Just work.
work that just encroaches on your personal time. You know, what is personal time anymore? But
Honestly, though.
so I'm kind of bummed out about that, but really my mindset is kind of just thinking about each day at a time because I don't know, I'd be probably pretty bummed if I started looking at the semester as a whole, what we have to do, like how we have to repeat basically what we did last semester, which was kind of difficult, I think, for me mentally a little bit. So I'm just like trying not to look too far into the future right now. That is the mindset, and it's going okay. But my second about like actually classes, like not just being online. There's this quote. I think it's from I'm pretty sure it's from New Girl, which I love that show. Also, if people again, I have not the best memory, so don't come for me if I don't say this correctly or if it's not from New Girl because I don't know. It's from the internet somewhere that keeps popping up for me. But it goes like I'm not convinced I can read. I think I've just memorized a lot of words. I'm pretty sure Nick Miller says
Um,
that. I feel that that's correct, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's really how I felt this first week. You know, I don't know, it's kind of intimidating to be a second semester freshman in college. I don't know. I know that like you're technically never ready for stuff. Like when will you ever be ready? But I felt extra unprepared lately. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm like I have more upperclassmen in my classes, you know, maybe. But maybe it's just because I'm like transitioning from winter break to like school again. But I felt really unprepared lately. But I'm not, it's not too big of a setback. I feel like, because you just gotta, I don't know, try to be more positive, even though it sucks and it's hard. But classes, that's how I've been feeling.
yeah. This I feel like motivation is just hard. I'm losing focus. And it's only the first week. I think that's the thing is that we've been in this situation for so long that you're like I don't know if you're like so you get so used to it that you start losing focus or it's just like another day and time just like has morphed into one like into the past. I don't know how you describe it. But like I used last semester, I would say that I was fairly motivated and not distracted. Maybe I think I used like pocket points to help me like not be on my phone. Actually, that's something I should try doing again. Did not do it this week. But like I've just been like on Instagram when I'm not on in class. And I'm like, I just need something other than this, other than Zoom. But yeah, I feel you. It's hard because you want to be positive about the situation and be like, we can get through this. In reality, it sucks.
It
And
has almost been a year, I think, since doing online school or in general, but I think it is it is hard because it also kind of feels like it half to me feels like time has stopped and like it also half feels like time is going faster. Let me just really quickly explain myself so I don't sound crazy. It's going slowly because day by day it feels pretty there's like no momentum to the days I feel like, especially when you're unmotivated. So this week already it felt really kind of slow. I don't want to use the word dull, like it's not like the teacher's fault, you know, so it's not like my classes are dull, it just feels like everything feels kind of dull right now, you know.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it also kind of feels like it's going fast because I feel like once we get out of COVID, get out of COVID in quotes, I don't really know when that's gonna happen or what that's gonna look like, but I feel like once we're kind of done with it, it's gonna be so strange because we're gonna kind of walk out and be like, okay, we just basically lost a year or more. When we're out, I'm going to be, or we're both going to be sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's so much that I did not do, you
As a
know? As
freshman,
a
yeah.
freshman, there's so many experiences I haven't like had. I haven't even done like orientation stuff in person with people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm a little nervous for that because I don't really want to look around and be like, oh, shoot, now I'm a sophomore and there's new things that you have to do as a sophomore and things that you have to worry about as a sophomore. But I haven't thought about it because in my mind, I'm still a freshman.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I feel like if anything, being like the stay-at-home orders and not COVID in general, like the inhibitions it's produced, have really impacted and just changed my perspective on time and how much it really matters. I like when you're in high school, it's like before COVID, it was kind of just like, oh yeah, I'm in high school, I'm older than all these other kids. And now it's kind of just like it's everything, every second has a gravity to it, even if it doesn't, if that makes any sense. Like I can't comprehend how important it is, but I do know in the back of my mind that's just another minute of my life I have to, that's just going by.
Yeah. And I do feel like, at least for me, I have kind of like a personal problem with feeling like I need to do things perfectly the first time. Like I have to be fully ready before I do something because I don't want to mess it up or something,
Mhm.
you know? Even something as simple as like making, like we've talked about this, even just something as simple as making like a LinkedIn or something very easy. I do face challenges with like I need to already be basically like perfect and know exactly what I'm doing and have everything ready, you know? And I feel like that's kind of gonna that's kind of like detrimental with like COVID happening, you know? But maybe it's a time for all of us to be more flexible, but it is hard, you know, because there's so much time. You're not necessarily wasting it because you're like still in school technically. You're like going through the motions of what you have to do, but there's a lot of time being lost, you know? Not just
Yeah.
events like graduation and things, but like just time of like being young adults where you're still figuring out life.
It's weird to think that we're also being productive. Like time doesn't feel like it feels like we're not really doing anything because we're at home all the time. But at the same time, we are still being productive because we're working towards a college degree. And it's like, it's hard to get your head around that.
Yeah.
But
It
then
kind of
again,
feels,
oh,
oh, sorry.
sorry, go ahead, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just gonna say it kind of feels a little bit mindless when you do things. I don't know. I'm just going through the motions. I feel like a robot. I'm just like going through everything just to kind of do it, you know?
Because it's like, it's just become a part of the routine. Like, this is how I maintain the normality of my day is by
Exactly.
doing this. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I think it's also, I think we're also very privileged in the fact that we don't have to worry about the impacts of COVID-19 financially as much maybe as other students at the college and just people around our area. And so I think time itself, I don't know why I keep coming back to this. I'm sorry. Time is just like it's a very different perception of how we're using time, I think,
Yeah.
than other people who have like these different situations where they have to worry about loved ones who have less time maybe or who they're worried will have less time, as well as those people who have to, I don't know if it's like make up time, but do things that we don't have to do in the span of a day just to maintain themselves and their families.
Yeah. And I do think, I mean, no matter where you are in the world and who you are and what resources you have, like time is universal, you know, and it just it depends on like what you have to go through at that moment. So I do feel very very privileged to be where we are, especially at such a, I don't know, such a good school and community where I do feel like we're being taken care of. But I do, it is interesting to like see how everybody's going through it, because everyone's kind of going to have to play catch up a little bit, you know, like no matter I
Yeah.
think who you are in some way, you're going to kind of have to play catch up to life after it's kind of over. So I think that's just, I don't know, something I've been thinking about.
That's really deep, good thoughts,
Oh,
Alyssa.
wow.
Look at you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I didn't mean for it to go like that, but
No, but that, I feel like we started with like second semester feelings and now we're in like this deep concept of time.
I know we were,
Wow.
imagine if we had taken our new girl train of thought. like, well, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you for listening and spending your time with us. We hope that you enjoyed us talking about our first week of spring semester and
And
tune in
time.
for more. Yeah.
That was an interesting turn of events, but I'm actually glad we got there.